Hey guys, it's Darth Yoda. It's been a while. Work's been keeping me busy, but happy Tuesday. So we got a lot of things to discuss today. The first thing I wanted to do is my fiance had never seen the Expendables movies, and they're some of my favorite action franchises. So we decided to watch the first Expendables movie a couple nights ago, and so I decided to give you guys my full YouTube review because on this channel I've not talked about. You guys know I talk about Expendables 2 and Expendables 3, but we haven't really talked about Expendables except for I'm excited for 4. I'm seeing 4 on Thursday. It's my most anticipated movie for the year after my other ones that have come out. It was Expendables 4, John Wick, a bunch of other things, but this was always at the tippy top for me because I loved Expendables 2. Expendables 2 just gave this great blend of comedy and action. And when I watch those movies, I just watch them as fun, silly action movies. But now, being that Statham is going to be the lead in the 4th movie, I reviewed these movies not only through the perspective of a fan of action, but as a martial artist myself, and which techniques are varied, and do I enjoy everything that happened. So, yeah, I'm doing a lot of content for Expendables this week. I'll be reviewing each of the movies. I will also be doing revealing my favorite character from the movies, which is Lee Christmas, and we'll talk about him in each movie. We'll talk about all the other characters, but I love Lee Christmas. He's my favorite. And then as we move forward, we will be discussing throughout the week. We'll be talking about the best fight scenes of the franchise as well. So that will probably happen on Wednesday. We'll probably talk about the best fight scenes. But yeah, so let's get into the review. So I've only seen the first Expendables movie a handful of times. Back in the day where I didn't have access to a lot of the streaming services or any of that, so it wasn't the easiest to find. But when I watched it, so the idea of the Expendables that got me excited was you got Stallone, aka Rocky. You have Statham from the Transporters franchise as well as Fast and the Furious now. You have Terry Crews from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. You have Jet Li, most known for teaming up with Jackie Chan and all these other great combinations. Like, you have all these great people in this movie, and it's just great to see an ensemble. It's like Avengers, but if the Avengers were a black op military unit, and they're just a bunch of dudes hanging out, having fun. There's other great people in this movie too. You got Mickey Rourke in this movie as Stallone's buddy, his tattoo artist, and so you got some good stuff here. You got the villain of Steve Cold Austin, the wrestler of the WWE. So The Rock isn't the only one that made his name up on the big screen, and not just Batista either. So it was great. We've seen him in episodes of Chuck, which I've also been watching with my fiance, which my review for all seasons of Chuck will be out coming soon as well. But yeah, so I really dug this. I really thought this was awesome. I really liked this first movie. It's got a beginning that's kind of slow at first, where they establish the characters. You get a fight scene in the beginning of the movie. It's pretty bloody. It's pretty awesome. And then we get a little break, and the team kind of disassembles because Stallone wants to do everything on his own. And then Statham and Stallone, so Barney Ross and Lee Christmas end up going to this country. And they end up finding some trouble. And it gets pretty intense. But we get some great fight scenes here. We get a great story for Statham where he's established with his love interest, but his love interest, where he's going to propose to her, but then later through the movie, some problems end up happening with her, which we'll get into more. So in the movie, as it goes on, we see these things are happening, and you're seeing consequences and stuff, and Barney's kind of realizing he needs to go back. Also, one of the best fight scenes in this movie is Statham in this airfield, where he is using his knives, which is Lee Christmas's signature weapon. He's doing Superman punches. He's doing kicks. Because the best thing about this is, you want to talk style, right? So each of these characters have their own fighting style. Stallone's more of a boxer, and then he uses his guns and his knives. But Statham is taking his MMA and martial arts Krav Maga experience to the next level, where you see him using guns, you see him using his knives, his fists, anything. He is the weapon. Basically, anything he can get his hands on. So in this fight scene, you see him just tearing dudes out. Superman punching dudes with knives. stabbing them, doing knees, doing brutal strikes, and it's great. Jason Statham is a great performer. He knows how to make an action scene look good, and it's really cool, and it really works here. I really enjoy this fight scene. I really liked it, honestly. Like, it really worked for me. Now, this video might not get the intro today because it is going to be so long, but that's okay because we're just going to crush it and just go for it. So, we move forward, and you get great things happening here with Statham showing up, and then we move forward in the back half of the movie. We're in the back half now. So we're now on this mission because Stallone basically makes a deal with Bruce Willis, his church character, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger's in the picture, and he doesn't really care for either of them, but he does this job, so we go to this country. Then we leave this country, and while everything is kind of setting up, we get this scene where Statham goes to visit his girl, who he's going to get engaged to, and he sees she's got bruises on her face from the housemates. And so then he goes to the basketball court. And if you guys have seen any of Statham's previous work, or you've seen clips on YouTube of like music videos and stuff, this is the iconic basketball sequence. Now, this is by far, for me, as good as the airfield scene is, this is probably the highlight fight of the movie, because you see Statham fighting these dudes. He's taking them all on. This is straight up, as someone who is a Krav Maga practitioner of over 2 years, he's doing everything you need. He's throwing right hooks. He's throwing jabs. He's throwing uppercuts. But these guys got basketballs. He's taking his knives out, and he's decimating these dudes. Throwing side kicks. Throwing palm heels. Like, just anything you can think of that's a Krav Maga move. This man is going in for it, and he's going brutal, and he's kicking ass and taking names, and it's brilliant. It's a ballet of death. That's what it is. And Statham does it so well. You know he's a trained professional. This doesn't feel like normal, but just choreography. This feels like this dude is just the best at what he does. But what he does isn't very nice. Stabbing dudes, it's fantastic. So he's crushing it here. Stabbing dudes. We go back to the country. So he stabs the last guy with the basketball. And it's so great. So he stabs him through the basketball. And it's brilliant. Absolute brilliance. And then we head over to the final fight scene now, where we're all taking out the government. We set these bombs. We go in with the full team. And we go back to save this girl, because Barney wants to save this girl. He wants to free her. He feels like something's wrong with her. So we move forward. And then our team going guns blazing. Also, earlier in the movie, we have a scene where Dolph Lundgren has betrayed our team. And Dolph Lundgren gets to fight Jet Li. It's amazing. You got some Taekwondo kicks in there. It looks brilliant. And Jet Li has him for a minute. But then it ends up having to be that Stallone has to shoot him. Thankfully, he survives, which we get to later in the movie. But it ends up being this thing. And then we move forward. We're all on the big mission together. We set up a bunch of explosions. Everyone becomes friends. We beat up Stone Cold Austin. You get to see Randy Orton, another famous wrestler, action star. He basically throwing Superman punches and setting these dudes on fire, and that's the end of Stone Cold Austin. Now, honestly, I was a little disappointed with someone of his wrestler caliber being taken out the way he was. I think they made him go out like a bitch. I think he could have got a better death, personally. So overall, I'm going to give the first Expendables a 7.5 out of 10. It's a solid Expendables movie. It is a solid start to the franchise, but it's nowhere near as good as 2. And we'll talk about what my thoughts are on 3 as we move forward, but I love 2. So we'll talk about it in the next video. Let me know your thoughts. Have you seen Expendables? The Expendables, the first movie. And if you have, what are your thoughts on it? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, I'll catch you in the next video.